This is going to be topic 11.3. I forgot to write it on there, but that's what this is. You're going to need your pencil and your notes. This is a really interesting chapter, but there's a lot of words to learn. You're going to be doing identifying and finding measures of vertical, adjacent, supplementary, and complementary angles. We started talking about angles earlier, and now we're going to talk about special angles. So you're going to put Roman numeral 3 for topic 11.3. It's angle pairs. The first one we're going to talk about, A, is vertical angles. Vertical angles are when you have any intersecting lines. When they cross each other, these are called vertical angles. Here's a picture of a vertical angle. See, I have two lines crossing. The wonderful thing to know about vertical angles is that vertical angles always, when you add all their sides together, equal 360 degrees, like a circle. Because if you look at it with our little magical daughter here, vertical angles make circles. So they're 360 degrees altogether, just like a circle. So, another really great thing to know about vertical angles is that the angles diagonal from each other are congruent. Do you remember what congruent means? Remember congruent, this little symbol? Congruent means the same. So they're the angles that are diagonal from each other. So here I have a set of vertical angles, and I'm missing some degrees. This one is 25 degrees, but with my smarts, I know the one directly across from it is also going to be 25 degrees because it's congruent. So Y is going to be 25 degrees. Knowing that, I can find out these other two angles, because how much does this all have to equal together? This all has to equal 360 degrees. So first I add the two angles that I know, 25 plus 25. They'll always give you the first angle, and that equals 50. So the whole thing is 360, and I've already used 50 of it. I'm going to take 360 and subtract what I've already used, 50 degrees, and I have 310 degrees left. I have to split that 310 degrees between two sides, and they have to be equal, because these two sides are going to be congruent because they're across from each other. So how can I split 310 degrees evenly? How can I split between two? That's right, divide it by 2. So let's do that. 310 divided by 2, I'm going to get a 1. Oopsie. Bring down my 1. I'm going to get a 5. Uh-oh. And a 5. So if one of them is 155, the other one is also going to be 155 because of the rules of congruency and vertical angles. You will not have to use your pesky protractor again. Okay, let me erase this work so we can move on. And we'll practice another one of those soon. The next type of angle to know, my little angle symbols, the next type of angle to know is called adjacent angles. Adjacent means next to. The person that you sit next to in class is adjacent to you. The house that's next to you is adjacent to you. So adjacent angles means two or more angles sharing one vertex. They're next to each other. Remember the vertex? What part of your body is the vertex? Okay. So they're sharing one vertex. They're like Siamese angles. They're sharing the vertex. Okay. Anyway, that's what an adjacent angle is. There are two angles that have one thing. So here's one angle right here, and here's a second angle right here. They're sharing a line, or sharing a ray, and they're sharing a vertex. The next one is a complementary angle. A complementary angle is a special type of adjacent angle. Here's a drawing of it. Notice I have two angles. I have an angle right here and an angle right here. They're sharing a vertex, but an adjacent angle is special because an adjacent angle equals 90 degrees exactly. And I know it because of this awesome symbol right here. So if I find out that this right here is 30 degrees, this angle is 30 degrees, how much does this angle have to be? Well, I know that together they have to equal 90 because of this symbol. So I put 90, I take away what I know, and that lets me know that my missing angle is exactly 60 degrees. Yay them. The last one is supplementary angles. Supplementary angles are also a special type of adjacent angle, but supplementary angles equal exactly 180 degrees. They make a straight line at the bottom. See, I have one angle right here and a second angle right there, and they're sharing a vertex. So the cool thing is they equal 180 degrees. So if I know that this side is 130 degrees, how big does that side have to be? Well, I take the 180, because I know it has to equal 180 altogether, and I subtract what I know, and I get 50 degrees. So this one has to be 50 degrees. So now let's practice by looking at these. Well, we're not going to do this one. We're going to practice by looking at these right here. This right here is our vertical angle. I know it's a vertical angle because I have two lines intersecting, and I know that vertical angles are congruent from the angles across are congruent. So if this side is 120 degrees right here, then the one directly across also has to be 120 degrees. The whole thing altogether has to equal 360 degrees. So 120 plus 120 equals 240. I'm going to subtract that from 360 degrees, it's total, and I get 120 left over, but I have to split that equally between two groups. 120 divided by 2 would be 60. Each of these sides has to be 60 degrees. 120 plus 60 is 180, plus 60 is it's all 360. It's late. Let's move forward, shall we? Okay. Right here we have, this looks like a complementary angle because I have adjacent angles that equal 90 degrees. This angle right here is 30, so I subtract that from the 90 degrees, so I know this one has to be 60 degrees. And the last one right here is our supplementary angle. It's going to equal 180 degrees. I see it's 180, I subtract what I already know, and I get 110 degrees. Okay, that's it. I'll see you tomorrow.